A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a striking interview with NBC News, U.S. President Donald Trump refused to dismiss the possibility of military action against Venezuela, intensifying concerns over the deteriorating relations between Washington and Caracas. This comes shortly after Trump ordered a naval blockade targeting sanctioned oil tankers linked to the Venezuelan regime, further tightening the screws on President Nicolas Maduro's government. During the phone interview, Trump stated, "I don't rule it out, no," when asked if war was a potential option on the table. The president's comments come at a time when the U.S. has ramped up its military presence in the Caribbean, following the seizure of a Venezuelan oil tanker and the blockade of others. This assertive stance has raised alarms about the potential for conflict in the region. The Trump administration has been vocal in its condemnation of Maduro, accusing him of leading a narco-terrorist state and facilitating drug trafficking that threatens U.S. national security. Since September, American forces have conducted numerous strikes on boats suspected of drug trafficking, resulting in the deaths of over 100 individuals. In a bid to further isolate Maduro, the U.S. Treasury Department recently imposed sanctions on 7 individuals connected to the Venezuelan president and his wife, accusing them of supporting Maduro's regime. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent emphasized that the U.S. would not allow Venezuela to continue flooding the nation with illegal drugs, stating, "Maduro and his criminal accomplices threaten our hemisphere's peace and stability." The president's remarks have left many speculating about his ultimate objectives regarding Venezuela. Trump has pointedly accused Maduro of stealing U.S. oil, referring to the nationalization of Venezuela's oil industry. He stated, "They took all of our energy rights, they took all of our oil from not that long ago, and we want it back." As the U.S. intensifies its campaign against Venezuela, Maduro has ordered his navy to escort oil tankers, defying what he perceives as an aggressive U.S. military posture. The Venezuelan government has dismissed the U.S. actions as an attempt at regime change, asserting that the U.S. aims to seize control of Venezuela's vast oil resources. Experts suggest that Trump's aggressive tactics may be driven by concerns over Venezuela's alliances with China and Russia, as well as the potential threat posed by a country rich in oil and minerals aligning with U.S. adversaries. David Smilda, a Venezuela expert, noted that the proximity of a nation with significant resources allied with the U.S.'s opponents is troubling from Trump's perspective. The situation has become increasingly precarious, with the U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean representing the largest deployment in decades. Trump has not clarified whether his ultimate aim is to oust Maduro, but his administration's actions suggest a clear intent to undermine the Venezuelan regime. Marco Rubio, a senior advisor to Trump, reiterated the administration's stance, stating, "We reserve the right, and have the right, to utilize every element of national power to defend the national interest of the United States." This statement reinforces the notion that the U.S. may be willing to use military force if deemed necessary. The seizure of a sanctioned oil tanker off Venezuela's coast has disrupted the operations of what has been termed the Dark Fleet, that transports oil from the heavily sanctioned nation. Reports indicate that many vessels are now rerouting to the Indian Ocean to avoid U.S. naval forces, indicating a significant shift in maritime activity due to the blockade. As the U.S. continues to target Maduro's oil revenues, experts believe this strategy may serve as leverage in negotiations aimed at ending Maduro's rule. By cutting off vital income sources, the U.S. is positioning itself to pressure the Venezuelan regime into compliance. Despite the escalating tensions, Trump has maintained a level of ambiguity regarding his intentions. His chief of staff, Susie Wiles, suggested that the president is determined to exert pressure on Maduro until he capitulates, indicating a possible shift from law enforcement to a more aggressive military strategy. As the situation unfolds, the international community watches closely, aware that the stakes are high not only for Venezuela, but for regional stability as well. The potential for conflict looms large, and the consequences of Trump's actions could have far-reaching implications for U.S. foreign policy and relations in Latin America. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.